Hello and welcome to episode 9 of the ToyBoyz podcast, where we talk everything toys. My name is Chad, and I'm joined today by Chris, Eric, and Jared. ToyBoyz, assemble. So, I guess first thing on our list today is that would be interesting to talk about is Haulathon. It's over, it's done. It's kind of like we call it Haulathon around here by those of us who actually participate. So anybody here pick up any Haulathon items? I know Avery was trying to get some stuff. Avery, by the way, is at a convention in Germany, so he's not around. Maybe he'll call in. That would be pretty cool. But then, Eric, anybody, did you grab anything for Haulathon? Oh, okay. So the classic, they re-released these with a new logo on them, but Bebop and Rocksteady, just the original two figures. Very nice.
Yep. I'm really missed out on the cartoon line completely. So most people hate re-releases. They want the new stuff, but this really beats having to pay eBay prices. So pretty
Yeah,
stoked.
yeah. I can kind of understand why people hate re-releases, but it also they're it's a very selfish feeling, right? Because they're not factoring in people who got into the line late. Um, so like for somebody like you who didn't pick those up several years ago when they came out, now you're able to get a Bebop and a Rocksteady to add to your collection. So I get it. I guess that was another good thing about Haulathon too was re-releasing the four turtles in those ultimate packages. I think they called them Pizza Bros, and those were just another great way is if you did not have the original four turtles that you could add those to your collection, especially if you haven't been collecting NECA turtles for years and years.
There's always new fans coming in. So
Always, always, always. Yeah, and they got to feed. I mean, NECA has to feed the line. They got to keep it going. So, um, I know they like to add a lot of random side characters and stuff, and we're kind of like, okay, what is this? But Bebop and Rocksteady, that's a good find. Was that something you found in store, or did you pick that up on the Haulathon site or Target site when they went up?
from the website, yeah, it was surprisingly smooth and painless this time. I don't know what it's been like for everyone else, but no issues getting them.
Yeah, sometimes those Target purchases from NECA can be it can be a challenge. Anything for you, Chris, at all? You're not in the Toon line, right?
No, I haven't picked up anything
Oh, I gotcha.
NECA wise in a while.
I gotcha. I saw that they also released a plush Cookie Monster yesterday. So I mean that's pretty adorable. So I mean you can't hate Cookie Monster. He's a
It's a
favorite of
classic.
mine. So yeah, classic Cookie Monster. One thing we were talking about before we started recording is Hasbro has some new Ghostbusters figures coming out. Eric, I know you were checking those out. How are you feeling about them? The 3 3/4 inch scale. I know that 6 inches is best for you, but how are you feeling about these?
Well, anytime there's vehicles involved, and with the Ecto-1 coming out, which at a price of 59.99 looks totally doable. I think it's great to have the smaller figures and or anything like play sets.
Certainly, yeah.
It's yeah, it works really well. I mean, it is a little weird because I mean, as an adult collector, I mean, all the Haslabs and other things have been these giant, $500 play sets, and they're kind of like the dream project, and it's super exciting to see something kind of scaled up um, to that size. But space becomes an issue, so I don't mind
Definitely.
smaller scale lines to collect. So yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
literally just found out about this just a few minutes ago, so I'm checking out the figures now. And I mean, some people may think the old school like GI Joe O-ring technology is kind of dated, but it's kind of a nostalgic thing for me. And I know like Super 7 was trying to lean into it on some of their figures lately, so I think there's still a market for that, and it's cool they're in that similar kind of style as the old Joes. So I'd pick these up.
Yeah, I'm looking at them right now, and maybe I can just share my screen real quick so you guys can know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm really actually kind of impressed with. I mean, these are 3 3/4, right? But I'm really impressed with the lightness and the face, right?
Yeah.
The face sculpts are really nice, and one thing that I've always hated about figures that are in this line is the lack of articulation. So the fact that these are in that kind of GI Joe style with multiple points in the arms and the knees, um, I mean that's just a huge plus for me. That you can, it's a figure you can do a lot more with. You're going to be able to sit it into the Ecto-1. You're going to be able to get it in there, and kind of move around, and they're going to be able to pretty versatile. And then plus, look at the accessories with this. Look at this.
Yep.
You got proton packs for everybody. You got a trap. You got the goggles. I mean, everything you would want. The PKE meter, everything you could possibly want in Ghostbusters action figures. So, and I mean, they look good. So I'm probably gonna end up. I have a feeling I'm gonna get this. I told myself I have the whole Diamond Select line of Ghostbusters, which I think included at least 30 figures between the first movie, the second movie, and the real Ghostbusters cartoon line. And I'm thinking that, and I kind of told myself after that, like, I've got everything I want, I'm good, I'm fine. But after seeing this, I'm kind of thinking maybe I'm gonna have to get this, because I mean that Ecto-1 I think looks great. How do you guys feel about Ecto-1?
It looks great. It looks nice and detailed, and
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good looking vehicle. I'm a
Well,
fan.
I love it, Chad.
It's good, Chris. It's good. That wasn't creepy at all. Uh, so yeah, so I don't know. I'm thinking that's gonna be a buy for me, probably so. And Chris, you had mentioned while we were kind of looking at that, we were looking at you mentioned that Mondo had announced that they were getting into the Ghostbusters line too. You know anything about that?
Yes, Chad. Mondo, I guess one of the guys that works at Mondo, he just did that that like mock-up or that little concept of what those figures looked like or could look like, because he's a fan of Ghostbusters, and he put them out there and a bunch of people were going nuts over them. So then Mondo decided that they were gonna put out some 6-inch Ghostbusters figures. They announced it at oh, some Chicago convention. I don't know which one, but it was
Oh,
like
okay.
it was like a Funko panel, because I know Funko owns Mondo now. So they announced it and people were like weren't even expecting it, and they were like going nuts over it. So they didn't really say too much about it, but there's like another podcast, I won't mention them, but they they pretty much had like an exclusive on it, and they were talking to the guy from Mondo, his name's Attack Peter, about the figures. Actually, I could mention them. It's Toy Anxiety. They're good.
Okay, let's edit that out, Aaron. Let's keep it close. Let's make sure.
just beep it out.
So yeah, man, I really thought I was out of the Ghostbusters game, but here I am. And I'm guessing Frozen Empire has something to do with this. Maybe it's kind of rejuvenating the Ghostbusters franchise a little bit.
They said that they might do like they might do 2-packs and then like include a bunch of accessories and stuff.
That'd be dope.
But they said another thing that they're probably gonna do is something that was lacking in the original, real Ghostbusters line was more ghosts, and maybe like some deep cut characters and stuff. So I think if you're a real Ghostbusters fan, I think that sounds pretty exciting.
Yeah. So I don't know if I ever felt like the original Kenner line was lacking ghosts, but I've always wished I could have seen more ghosts from the cartoon in figure form. You know what I mean?
That's
So like
that's what they said they're gonna do, because it's based off the cartoon.
sure.
It's not off the toy line, but off the cartoon.
Okay,
So
the actual. So they're actually going to be following the source material more so than
yes.
just reproducing the Kenner line. Okay, that's cool. Like I mean, they had a lot of great ghosts in the Kenner line. Granny Gross was kind of one of my favorites. Fearsome Flush, which was a ghost toilet for some reason. I don't know why that ever existed, but that was a cool little ghost to play with. A toilet, if you will.
Made me scared of the toilet for a long time, so
That makes
obviously
sense.
I would shit my pants a lot
Yeah.
to avoid.
Still, yeah. When are you gonna grow out of that?
He's out there, man. That ghost toilet's out there.
Yes, I was looking at kind of those artist rendering that you're talking about. I did see that Sam Hain figure there, which was one of the craziest ghost villains from the real Ghostbusters. It'd be great to see Sam Hain. It would be great to see the Boogeyman, which terrified the hell out of me as a child. I was legitimately scared of the Boogeyman from real Ghostbusters. You guys know what I'm talking about? With the goat legs and the big head and the
Yeah.
big mouth
Oh,
and the
yeah.
oh my lord. I'm gonna pee
How about
myself right now.
Slimer? We've never seen a Slimer figure before.
What?
How-
Just kidding.
I was gonna say, wait.
Yeah, Kidder definitely had a Slimer figure for sure. I don't know. Chris is on drugs, I think. So speaking,
5 hours of sleep will do that.
yeah, that's true. That's true. Um, those of you who don't know, Chris woke up for this. He poor guy has to work. Would you get off of work like about 6 hours ago? So like, yeah, he had to
Yeah,
set
but
an
I'm off
alarm for
today.
that.
I'm off today, so once I do some errands, I'll probably just go back to sleep.
Dope.
Nice. Nice.
Wise choice. It's a wise choice. So speaking of Ghostbusters coming to Comic Con and finding out more, any Comic Con predictions? Anything on your Comic Con wish list? Anything you guys are hoping for? Chris, even thinking about
Um,
Comic Con? Is it on your mind?
well, I mean, one of my favorite things at Comic-Con was the Sideshow Collectibles booth, but I don't think they're going to be doing that anymore again. And
Yeah,
so I guess my second favorite would be the NECA booth, even though I haven't really purchased any NECA figures in a while, but um, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what they have. Plus, I mean, there's so many new toy companies that have been popping up recently. Last year there
yeah.
was this one Syndicate Collectibles that had like a lot of really cool stuff. They haven't put out anything yet, but they showed like a prototype for Pumpkinhead.
Bloodsport?
No, no. They said they're doing those figures, but they're kind of like slow to get them produced right now. But I saw the Pumpkinhead was actually like in the prototype phase, so they were showing um how it's gonna actually look when it's done. Um but yeah, I would like to see some more Planet of the Apes figures from NECA. I think that was like a really good line that they that had a lot of potential and then they canceled it. But I just recently saw that they're uh reissuing some of the older figures. So
Yeah.
I think
Hmm.
that's a good sign that they might do more. And then who knows, maybe if the movie does well, the new movie does well, they
Yeah.
might do figures from that movie too, but we'll see.
So let me ask you this, because I don't think I even knew that NECA did a Planet of the Apes line. So when you say they were re-releasing old figures, do you mean old figures from Planet of the Apes or just old NECA figures in general? Like I feel like I've seen some alien figures that could come back
They're
and some gremlins and stuff.
they're figures from like the classic lines from the classic line. So it's like Dr. Zaius and
Gotcha.
they had like a whole line, well, a whole series of figures that never saw the light of day. They canceled them. So there was like other apes that they were gonna have in that line. But a lot of people wanted like the Charlton Heston character.
Yeah.
They never made it. They never made Nova, which is like the female who's gonna be in whose character shows up in the new movie. Um, there's actually that's all I could think of right now. But yeah,
Nice. This
I
looks
missed
good.
these the
These are
first
really,
time
really cool.
around, so I ordered these because
yeah,
you know,
I have all those already. So it's like, I mean, I guess I could get another soldier, but I don't really have room to be army building the ape soldiers. But they're really cool figures. There was one of my favorite lines.
Yeah, these look
I
great.
got
I
I
don't
have like the lawgiver and what else? Well, I don't know. I have a bunch of them. There was like a San Diego Comic-Con 4-pack that they did too with some of the other apes.
oh nice.
Yeah, so that was kind of a harder one to find, and even now it's still kind of retained its value. So
Huh. Is it all the classic Planet of the Apes stuff? Is none of the newer movies
Yeah.
with okay,
No,
cool.
no. I mean, they could have totally re-released another um figures from Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, because I
Yeah.
know the Luca and the Maurice figures go for a lot of money still. Even like the Caesar and Koba also, those go for a lot of money too. The regular versions, not the ones with like the face paint,
Yeah.
but yeah, those, I mean, if they would have re-released, that would have, I don't know. I think that might have made more sense because there's more people in this generation that are more familiar with those films.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But obviously they're coming from the point of being, fans themselves of the original movies.
Certainly,
So
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I kind of wonder
Yeah.
where the market is for that. I wonder if, we say this generation, I wonder where when it comes to adult toy collectors, right? Like everybody here in this on this podcast, I wonder what that age range is in terms of a marketing stance from a company like NECA or somebody. What are they looking at? Is it 30 to 50? Is it, is 30 kind of like the younger range, and or is it even older than that? Is it 35 to 55? Is it, what do you guys think about that? What do you think when it comes to like Planet of the Apes and some of these older toy lines? What are they trying to focus on here?
I guess, they want, well, for one, they want to make stuff that they didn't have when they were younger.
Certainly,
And,
yeah. But
you
also
know,
it has to sell, right? Like that's
yeah,
the item with the
it has
money.
to
Yeah,
sell
yeah,
too. Yeah.
yeah.
So
I know
I'm surprised
that's
we
yeah.
haven't seen NECA do any like Kickstarter type of things yet, like other companies have.
Well, I would say that if
Did
they
that
they
for
don't
the
necessarily
Turtle
have
Lab?
what were you
The
saying? What
Didn't
were you
they have
saying,
a
Aaron?
Kickstarter for the Turtle Lab or something? One of the dioramas
So
for the NECA
what
Turtle.
what I was gonna say is they don't necessarily have Kickstarters like Haslab and things like that, but they do have pre-orders. And I feel like those pre-orders, the money that comes in from that is what fuels those items to be produced and purchased and sent out, because you could wait, a year, sometimes more, depending on the pre-order. Sometimes it's more like 8 or 9 months, but it's still there have been items that we waited a year and a half for, like the turtle van, for example, because it needed some modifications. So we had to wait like a year and a half for that. And it wasn't crowdfunded like a Kickstarter kind of a thing, but the pre-order process gives them the money that they need up front to make the items.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
It's funny, these apes just dropped at the right time because I've been watching the 1970s TV show of
Yeah.
Planet of the Apes, which
Nice.
has some charm to it. It's definitely dated. But if you're like an Apes fan, I mean it's still pretty cool and introduces a bunch of new lore and new characters. And I was totally shocked to see the actor who plays Spock's father.
Mark Leonard, yeah.
Mark Leonard is like the head villain ape, the head of the security force or something, and he's in
Oh,
practically
really?
every episode.
Hmm. That's
Um,
pretty cool.
but yeah, I mean, even all the makeup, prosthetics, and everything. As soon as I heard that voice, I was like, "Holy shit, it's Spock's father as an ape!" Like that's wild. So it's been fun to watch.
Hmm. That's pretty cool. I don't know a lot about Planet of the Apes. I feel like I've watched some of the movie when I was younger. I feel like where I got most of my Planet of the Apes knowledge is from The Simpsons, the Planet of the Apes musical.
Dr. Zaius,
Um,
yeah. Yeah.
yeah, so
That's
that's
it.
how I know the name Dr. Zaius, and that's how I know a lot of it. But like, really, I'm not. And I mean, looking at these, like, these look great. These really do look good. Like, if
I've,
it
I've
was, yeah,
I was gonna say I watched them all. They're all really good movies. I mean, some of them are a little slow paced, but I just like that it was like a movie that they had done that had so many sequels in the past, and it had like so much kind of lore to it, and I just
certainly,
felt
yeah.
like it was something it was that could have been tapped in a lot more. Like I know they did a Star Trek Planet of the Apes comic.
Comic, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I thought that was really good idea to bring those two like worlds together. Um, but they're good. I even like the Mark Wahlberg movie, but I think the worst part about that movie is Mark Wahlberg. He kind of ruins it. Like, but if you if you kind of like I mean, it's hard to um like subtract him from the equation, but um if you if you appreciate like all the makeup and practical effects that they used in that movie, and I think the cast too, it's like a really good cast besides Mark Wahlberg. uh the movie's pretty decent, and it's cool because it's just like it has like its own kind of like twist at the end of the movie, which I really liked. A lot of people didn't like it, but I thought it was pretty cool. I would have liked to seen a sequel of that. But yeah, I love all the Planet of the Apes stuff.
That is the one good thing about new sequels coming out, or remakes or reboots or whatever, is that sometimes it's the only way you're going to get figures from the old original property.
True.
Like
Yeah.
one of the only redeeming qualities of Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull or whatever, I wasn't a fan of that movie at all, but by it coming out and them coming out with figures for that, they also re-released like all of these original, Raiders of the Lost Ark,
Oh, nice.
like Kenner style figures, and there was a whole wave of Lego sets based off the original trilogy. So
Oh, cool.
that is
I remember you were really excited when that first came out. I remember you got like a Kingdom of the Crystal Skull tattoo.
Yeah, we
You know,
can't
they
show it
stopped
here.
too,
We
yeah.
can't show it on the but
He
Had to
got
get
like a
removed.
he got Mutt Williams on his back, full
No,
back piece.
no way.
Have you seen Fanboys?
Yeah.
Yeah. Where he gets like the Jar Jar Binks tattoo on his back.
I forgot about
because he
that.
thought he was gonna be like the biggest character. It was before the yes, I forgot all about that. Yeah.
Well, how do you guys feel about this in a similar vein? Like, how do you feel about when a whole bunch of toys come out before the movie even comes out? Like, are you a day one purchase? Like, I'm gonna buy these because I'm gonna love this movie no matter what, or are you more of like a wait and see?
Um, what do
I
you
like
think?
that it's that the toys are there when the hype is there, when it actually drops, and then you have something. But one thing that really bothers me is when they base it off like concepts, drawings and stuff, and you're stuck with something that looks nothing like the
This
character. Like
the
I remember
source
I
material,
would
yeah.
that when I was a kid, that would frustrate me so much. Like the original, like the first Terminator figures were so like lame looking, but I was just like, oh, I have Terminator action figures, so I didn't really care. But yeah, there was a bunch of stuff like that. Like oh God, what were some other ones? I remember they made some toys based on Mission Impossible movie. Um, there was there's a bunch of them. Demolition Man. There's
Oh yeah. Yeah.
all kinds of ones, but I like that. I liked having action figures for those properties, but they just didn't quite meet the criteria.
Yeah, kind of reminds me of the old Jurassic Park figures when they first came out, and it was like
Yeah.
this really is nothing like the movie. It doesn't really look like anything. I remember there's the famous line from one of the commercials, like you push a button and the side of a dinosaur blows off, and the kid's like battle damage, and I'm like, is that what the movie's about? Are we shooting missiles at dinosaurs? Is that what Jurassic
I
Park
believe
is really
you're
about?
referring to the dino damage.
Is that- Jared, what about you? Did that ever bother you when you were a kid? Like whenever you were getting a toy or you saw a toy and it just didn't
Yeah.
fit the source material, or were you
Yeah.
normal? Okay, cool.
I can't think of anything specific, but I know there
Yeah.
were certain instances where, I got the toy and I was like, wait a second, this wasn't like in the movie, or it looks
Yes,
nothing like it. It's like
yeah,
this has really nothing to do with it. So
yeah. I know maybe not a recent example, but a fairly recent example was when must have been one of the Avengers movies came out and they released it was Captain America on a motorcycle. There was this figure on a motorcycle, and it never happened in the movie. The only character that you saw in the movie on a motorcycle was Black Widow. But they knew that Black Widow was a female character. It wasn't going to sell to boys as an action figure as well. So they put Captain America on there. And I mean it wasn't something I was going to collect, but like I could imagine as a kid, like, wait, he was never on a motorcycle. Why is he on a motorcycle right now? Um Also, speaking of motorcycles, Chris and we had this discussion the other day about the Wolverine motorcycle from ToyBoyz, popping up in the X-Men '97 cartoon.
Yeah.
In the background, we kind of the same thing. Like literally, at no point did that ever. Try and find a good picture of it real quick that I can
Yeah,
share. But literally,
was that
yeah,
appealing even as a kid?
yeah, exactly. Even as a kid, I was like, this. Could you imagine Wolverine riding down the streets of New York in that motorcycle? Like,
Yeah, it's like a lot of those dumb like kids, like they'll give Superman like the superpowers. They gave Superman like a jet and it has like fists on it.
yes, yeah,
Like it's so ridiculous. Like, yeah, I'm gonna drive around in a first of all, Superman shouldn't need a jet ever.
Yeah.
And the fact that it has like two big fists on it because oh, he's strong. He punches things, so he must have big fists on his vehicle.
his airplane must punch things too.
Oh man.
Oh man,
Or they'll do like the Joker mobile and it has like a big
yes,
picture of Joker's face on it.
You're 100% right. Like just the toys that they come up with, I'm just like, I mean, even as a kid, I'm like, this is stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know, man. I just work here.
We were just like really logical kids, you know?
Yeah, we were just ahead of our we were just very smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, we were just very advanced for our age. Um, so speaking of X-Men '97 and the Wolverine motorcycle, um, have you guys been watching the series lately at all? I don't want to spoil anything. I don't want to ruin anything for anybody watching or anybody in the podcast. But they did just release a photo at least of an, and I don't want to share it now because the only photo I have of it so far that I can find is not very good. It's not very high quality. They did release a photo of the new wave of toys from X-Men '97 that's coming out. And like Chris was saying earlier, it's always nice when the toys coincide with the property because then, the toys are kind of riding the wave of the popularity of that property. X-Men '97 was actually, it debuted later than it was originally planned to. So they had figures that came out last year that didn't necessarily have a property, and they still sold because it was guys like us, our age, that knew it was coming. We already knew that we liked it. But I feel like the toys are still kind of riding that wave because the show's incredibly popular right now. It's doing really well. It's highly rated. People are loving it. And you can see the toys. I mean, they were like $25.99 at retail, but people are selling them at 60, 70, 80 bucks right now because they're so popular. But they did just release a new wave and I'm glad that they waited till now because it kind of has some spoilers in terms of, not big spoilers, but in terms of kind of costuming and things that characters might be wearing. Have you guys been watching it all? You guys know what I'm talking about?
I have not
I do.
watched.
Seen it yet? No.
Guys, this is me putting this out into the universe.
Yeah.
X-Men '97 is one of the greatest things Marvel's ever done, especially post Infinity War and Endgame. Like, this is one of the greatest things you're ever going to watch. So this is just me, not just for you, not just for Eric, not just for Jared. Chris, you're into this, right? You've been watching it.
Yeah. Oh,
right,
yeah,
you're
I'm
all caught up too. Yeah. This
Well,
is
let me
me
ask
putting
you
out for
this.
anybody listening to this podcast. All right. Log into Disney Plus. This is not a Disney Plus commercial. I don't care if you pirate it. I don't care, whatever. Do whatever you got to do to watch X-Men '97 because it is so good. I'm traumatized. I need group therapy. It's so good. I'm traumatized and I need group therapy. That's like the succession of events.
I don't care if you have to commit murder. Go watch it. Go watch it right now.
Would you kill a man?
Would you kill a guy? Jared, what would you do to watch X-Men '97? We're gonna report on next podcast. So we're like, Aaron, where's Jared? She's like, jail. Jared's in jail. Jared killed a guy.
Again?
You really got to talk to him about that.
That's the meeting he had. That's the meeting he has after this. He has to go see his parole officer.
Yeah. my check-in. Yeah, I have to.
Oh my word.
But how vital is it to have seen the original series from the 90s?
Oh,
Mm,
oof.
Because
That's a good
I
question.
mean, if you
That's a
want to
good
know
question.
who some of the background story, it's I would say it's kind of vital. Like, but it's also not anything that's like you couldn't figure out, or
Yeah.
they're gonna show little flashbacks and stuff like that. Like
Yes.
you can you're not gonna be totally lost if you just
Yeah.
jump into it, but it definitely helps, like anything, like Lower Decks. Like I know people who've watched Lower Decks and they've never watched other Star Trek before, but it just it only makes the experience more enjoyable, and
Certainly. Yeah.
it
Yeah.
helps you with the story.
Yeah.
yeah,
Um, and I mean, it's X-Men is not, it's something you probably already know about, Eric, right? Like you're
Yeah.
aware of Magneto and Xavier and the
yeah.
team, and
Seeing
yeah,
all
so
the
like yeah.
movies,
So
yeah.
as long as you know that much going into it, you're not going to be lost or anything. You're going to understand the context of almost everything that's happening.
Eric, are you
Um,
familiar with Cable?
Unfortunately, I just yeah. When
yeah,
did
I've
that
got HBO.
series came out? Like what, 93 or something?
Yeah.
So yeah,
I
I
mean,
just
it's a totally easy show to just watch and binge too. Like I've put it on, and it's sometimes it's in the background, and it's
yeah.
I
How
think the
long?
episodes are like 20 minutes too, the original.
Like
How long was the
22-minute normal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
How long?
What were you saying, Jay?
So
How long was the original run? Like how many seasons or episodes?
I want to say it was
three?
I was
Three.
longer
Okay.
than that. I think it was 5, but most of the seasons weren't necessarily full seasons. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
5 seasons.
Yeah. I think it was 5, but it's not a hard watch. It's not like 100 episodes. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Some of it is better than others. And, Chris and I might be kind of looking at through, those nostalgic rose colored glasses. Um, because as a kid, I was 9 years old when a kid named Sean, who lived in my neighborhood that was in my fourth grade class, came over. He had a VHS because he had recorded 2 episodes of it. And the very first episode I watched, Wolverine he's out, he's like in the Klondike somewhere in Canada, whatever. Um, and he's being chased by a Sabretooth. And that was the very first episode I ever watched, and it blew my mind. I knew nothing about the X-Men. I knew nothing about them, and that literally changed my life. I became obsessed with X-Men. I ended up watching Spider-Man cartoon after that. I ended up watching everything. Like I was obsessed with X-Men after that. Um, so I will say that X-Men 97 it's much more mature than because the original X-Men animated series is definitely made for kids. This is definitely made for adults. So the writing is much more mature. It's much more serial. And the one of the benefits of the original X-Men series was the serialization. Even though as a cartoon, it still had serialized elements. Um, but X-Men 97 is definitely for adults. Um, I would not recommend it for kids. But yeah, just looking at the new figures they have coming out, some ones I could drop here that are not spoilers at all, are they've got Forge that's coming out, which is really cool to see, and Jubilee, and they've got some of the characters that you see in kind of their their older uniforms. Obviously, he mentioned Cable before. You got Morphin here, and Emma Frost as well. So that new line's looking good. I'm gonna have to get that for sure. I've already got all the other X-Men 97 figures, so really looking forward to adding those to adding those to the line. Incidentally, while we were talking about Ghostbusters, I happened to see one of the Diamond Select figures that I have still in package, and it was going for like $200. So
Oh, the real Ghostbusters Diamond Select figures?
yeah, yeah,
Those are expensive, man.
yeah. I bought them when they
I
first came out at retail. So
really like those. I really like those figures. I guess a lot of people don't really like the Diamond Select stuff, but
I thought they were all
They're a
great.
little the female figures especially have issues like standing up. Their legs kind of splay out or they
Mm,
tilt to the
Mm.
side. And I found that with some of their Star Trek figures too, where maybe they try to make their legs too slim, too narrow or something, and
oh,
the
the
molding,
Diamond Selects. Yeah.
yeah, it's
Um,
a little janky sometimes. So you have to get a good you know, figure stand, or even the
Stand or
ones that
base, yeah.
hold the figure
I'm
around the waist, to keep them up.
I'm not gonna allow you to put down female figures or body shaming, okay, Eric?
Only
Yeah,
Diamond Select
figure, yeah.
version. I don't know if they had work in the sculpting department, but
Um,
they got
I will
problems.
say that one thing that I loved about the Ghostbusters, every single one of those figures that they put out from Diamond Select, is they all came with different um diorama pieces, and then you put all of those together to put something to, you know what I mean? So like
Nice.
one was the rooftop from the first movie, right? And then the other one for the real Ghostbusters was the front of the firehouse. So like you get the real Ghostbusters figures, you can put the front of the firehouse together. So for me, that's for display purposes, it's important to have all that together so you can just have a really nice way to display it. I've
Even
never
if you don't
had
have room to display stuff, it's just nice to have because one day, like we all say, we're all gonna have that place where we want to display all our stuff.
yeah.
Not all of us are rich like Eric.
I was gonna say some of us already have it, but okay.
Eric, don't you need one of your kids to graduate high school and go off to college so you could use their room for an additional toy room? Aren't you running out of space?
He's
I
he's
just-
already here. He has the plans to like knock down some walls already.
I literally just said to her today, I haven't seen you in that playroom in a few months. Like, you're not using that room anymore, are you?
And she's like, Daddy, you're not taking over my playroom. And he's like, Eric was like, soon. Krampus. Were you telling us? Was it Eric? Were you telling us? What do you call him? Krampus? Krampus? Crumpets?
Krampus.
Yeah.
Crumpets. Yeah.
Krampus.
They are Krampus.
Yeah. Who's making it? Now I don't even know how to say it. Krampus. Who's making this Krampus? You were telling us about?
Oh, it's a NECA figure. So,
Oh, nice.
I guess the only thing is the one by crap. Now I can't remember the name of that company that makes Mythic Legions. Crystal
Four
Knights.
Horsemen.
Four Horsemen. Yeah, I mean their Krampus was already incredible. I mean, I don't know how unless you made it a X06 scale $200 figure.
Yeah.
Well, I mean they're both totally different. But yeah, I love the Four Horsemen one.
Oh, this does look way different. Yeah, the
This
road.
this is
Wow.
this one is based off the movie.
Oh. Okay, this would still be worth getting though. Wait, $100 though. What?
Yeah, it's pretty
Yeah,
crazy.
that's different. Yeah, usually NECA is like even their
They
ultimate
said-
figures are.
They said it's gonna be like 10 inches tall or something.
Oh, that makes sense.
So I'm guessing it's about 8 inches, and then with the horns, probably another 2. But
Also, you can use PayPal Pay in 4.
yeah,
Eric.
I think it's cool. I think it's a really cool figure. It looks like a solid piece of like plastic too. And I'm sure it's gonna come with a good amount of accessories. They even made another character to go with it. That one right in the bottom left.
They're a clown.
But
This is terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
I don't know. I think it's cool. But I like the Four Horsemen one a little bit better because it's like it goes in with all their other Mythic Legions figures and stuff, and it's just more posable and it's just
Yeah.
like a really cool figure. But I mean, I wouldn't even really compare them. Only the fact that they're both based off the same character, but they're totally different.
Cool.
This is a must buy for me personally.
Yeah, ALF, of course.
Yeah.
Wow, look at those accessories.
Nice.
It's the accessory. It's the whole outfit. I've already got the regular ALF, the regular Ultimate ALF, but this one's just too. I mean, this one's too cool not to buy. Little rock star. I might actually take this with me and put it in my office.
I always felt like Alf's music was always kind of experimental, kind of controversial.
Yeah.
I just felt like his music was just kind of more of a gimmick.
Little derivative. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I get that. Not Born in the USA is the title of his album, so
See what I mean?
it's all a gimmick.
Uh,
Oh my life.
Elf, your music saved my life.
That's Jay-Z just that's the gif of him just bopping his head to
Remember, I
Al's
was in a dark place and then I overheard Elf's music playing and it just totally changed me.
saved absolutely saved my life.
Once the Mutagen tour came around, it just kind of crushed, you know.
Oh, that's true. That's
Yeah.
true. Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, they really changed the game. Yeah, that have you've watched that episode of Oprah when they're guests on Oprah?
Oh
The
my
turtles are
God, it's
guests on
so
Oprah.
funny. And
And
it
the
turns
little
all
kids like
creepy.
what's so special about Splinter? And they're like, well, what's so special about your dad? Like, whoa, the kid just got burned.
Splinter could beat up your dad.
You say the
He could
creepy
probably
part
kill
where
him.
the creepy part where they're like they've been trying to convince April to get into an interspecies relationship. Oh my god.
Dude, it's so good. It's so funny. And then they make
Oh.
they make a comment about her holding her breath or something. And then
Oh my god,
and
underwater.
then it just
Yeah,
goes over
yeah.
the kids' heads. They're just like, what?
Yeah, it's traumatizing. It's traumatizing. Have you seen the 4-pack that NECA released of the Mutagen that tour? The
Yeah.
That's a good pack. I've got when I first saw it, I was like, no way would I ever want this. These are the dumbest, ugliest things I've ever seen. And I feel like 2 weeks later, I was like, I need these. So
Yeah.
I was able to get them for a really good price too. But I don't know what changed in my mind. I was like, these are so dumb and so ugly. I
I like
love
how
them
they
so
made them
much.
look exactly like, you know, the source, like how they looked like they
Yes.
were guys in
Yeah.
suits, you
Yeah.
know.
They've got all their instruments with them. Yeah, but see, and again, this is one thing I appreciate about this is the packaging itself is like a diorama, right? Like it's a nice little backdrop stage for
Yeah.
them. Yeah, that's one of the things I really love about this set. Um, I think the tour was called Coming Out of Our Shells, but NECA didn't have the rights for the actual title. So that's why they call it Musical Mutagen Tour.
Mm.
Dope. Yeah. Hideous, and I love them. Cool. All right. So I'm being told by our producer we have about 15 minutes left. So I just want to make sure that we wrap some things up here, and we got I think a little special presentation that's coming up. So can we jump to the pick of the podcast? Can we do that real quick, guys? I brought in personally something I picked up the other day at a toy show. We have any Darkwing Duck fans here?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Right?
Oh
Let
yeah.
me turn off my
Completely phased
background.
out of existence here.
Let me turn off my background real quick.
Any fans of the Romulan Warbird?
It's back in cloaked form.
Such
So this bad
Oh.
boy
Oh
right here,
nice.
this monstrosity I picked up. When there's trouble, you call DW.
Wait, who did that?
Darkwing.
This is
Duck.
Diamond Select.
Nice.
Oh, nice. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, look great.
Yeah. So it's both Darkwing and Negaduck, right? And you see it comes with all kind of accessories. They each have their own hats, their capes. They come with some alternate heads, some hands, a bunch of different weapons. There's at least looks like 8 different weapons in here.
Wow.
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge, freaking huge.
I want that.
Yeah,
Impressive.
I love it. I saw it and this was a must get for me. I'm kind of hoping that Diamond Select gets into more of that line. I don't know if they will. I would love to see more Darkwing though, personally. Eric, you got anything you could show off today? Any new stuff?
I do. Yeah.
Old stuff?
So there's a new subline of Transformers in Japan called the Missing Link collection. And they're basically taking the G1 Generation 1 original figures, which are pretty primitive back then as far as articulation goes. You know, they just kind of
Yeah.
moved at right angles and stuff. And they're basically creating the same figure, same proportions, same design, but completely upgrading the articulation. So just as an example, this is the first one. This is an Optimus Prime. This is the original G1. So I mean, its legs just kind of move, you know, very simple transformation and what have you, very basic. But this is the new version of him. So now, like, you know, the legs can actually,
yeah.
you know, bend at the knees. They can move
Sweet.
side to side. The arms have more articulation. The fists now actually fold in and go inside the arm, whereas the old figure you had to take a fist and like plug it in at the end, you know, so it didn't, all the parts didn't fully transform as one unit. And they even inside the chest, they upgraded. So now the Autobot Matrix of Leadership can go inside the chest piece there, just like in the movie and whatnot. So then it comes with the trailer and all the accessories and everything else. And
Dope.
probably the coolest thing about it was that they replicated the packaging exactly. It even came with styrofoam on the inside to hold the figure, which, you know, in the 80s everything was styrofoam, you
Yeah.
know, back then. And but you know, environmental reasons or whatever that you know, they haven't done that in forever. So the
I
fact
like
that
how they were like, to hell with the environment.
yeah.
We're gonna do this.
Well, I mean, no one's probably going to throw that box away, you know, if you're a
True.
collector.
Yeah.
Because of, you know, it's kind of like a chicken or egg. Like, well, if we put the styrofoam in there, they'll never throw it away because they'll want to keep this very
Brilliant.
nostalgic box. So let's just do it the right way. So, so yeah, that was a recent pickup, and they're going to continue the line. They're going to keep doing figures. I don't know how far they'll go because I mean, there's literally 100 figures they could do, but we'll see.
Very nice. Chris, you got anything new? Pick of the podcast you could show off?
Not really. I
Anything?
just been I kind of picked up a new line of I've been buying these the smaller Doctor Who figures. They're kind of like hard to find over here in America, so I've kind of been buying some on eBay and stuff. I don't really have any that I can pull out really right now, really
Sure.
quick. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah. No
but
worries.
they're like the little 5-inch figures. I mean, it's a fun line to collect because they're hard to find, and they're kind of like even like loose. They're kind of like, you know, $20 or something. So it's like it's just. I mean, it's frustrating to not find them places, but when you do find them, it's just like, oh, okay, like cool, I'll buy this, or you know. So that's the kind of fun part about it is you can't just like go to like a toy show and like blow your whole wad. And there's so many characters too, like so many random characters that you can pick up. So, but that's it.
Who makes those?
Oh, I don't even know. Some
Yep.
British company. All the Doctor Who stuff is made like I think in a like a British company. They're not like they don't look that great. Some of the likenesses aren't too great, but they're just cool because it's a big line and you know, it's fun to collect.
Very cool, man. Uh, Jared, what about you, sir? Do you have anything you want to show off? Anything? I know you opened up your enterprise recently, but oh, very nice. Could you
It's
unblur your screen? Yeah,
it's not
it's
not safe
halfway
for work,
closed.
so
Yeah,
it's blurred. Here, let me unblur myself. Yeah, so
very nice.
here it is. As
Looks
you can see,
good.
the top has all the detail. The
Mhm.
stand, like we were talking about earlier, it's good
Is
looking
much
stand.
better than the '90s stand. Yeah, I really do like that more. Yeah.
Yeah, and then here, it lights up.
Oh wow! I don't think I'd seen it lit. That looks way better, I think, than the '90s version. That's really cool. Oh, and the bridge and every. Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, and then you
That
can
is
do
pretty
the
dope.
different things. So yeah,
Let's hear
pretty
the
dang
sound.
cool.
Let's hear some sounds.
Yeah,
Yeah, is there any beep, 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 beep?
phaser, the red alert.
Can't hear shit.
It's weird. I can't hear anything.
Oh no. Well,
It's
shoot.
all good. Yeah, we can imagine what it sounds like. It looks great though. It doesn't look really great. Oh snap! I forgot the saucer separates. That's really dope.
Yeah, pretty cool. So
Yeah. Yeah, and I know you guys did an unboxing video, so we'll be able to watch that. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Sweet. So Jared, are you sure that that's it? Are you sure that that's all you got? Is the Enterprise? I heard that maybe you had something else. Actually,
what? I do?
yeah, I heard you had something else. And do you know what I'm talking about? Have you heard about this?
This might be the portion of the show if there's any kids
Oh.
watching to leave the room.
Unblur your screen, Jared. Unblur your screen.
It looks like it's a
Oh,
Exo 6.
We got an Exo 6 box here.
Look at that. It's the box is for display only. So I just will put this on the mantle.
I said Aaron.
why do you keep blocking Aaron? Why do you keep blocking Aaron?
Oh,
Now
my
she's
God.
gone. Whoa,
Did she even exist in the first place?
Aaron, are you a magician on the side?
All right, let's
The great
let's-
Jaredini. All right, what do we got here, Jared? For those of you watching at home, this is a surprise.
I feel like a proud dad right now.
Watching like Christmas. Like you're on the couch smoking a cigarette, watching your
Oh,
kids.
look at that. Lacutus.
Oh,
Yeah.
Look at this.
Wow.
Look at that.
Look at that. Oh man. Whoops,
It's
there
his
goes-
first ever Exo 6.
Yeah.
Yeah. So real quick backstory while Jared's working on this. Aaron, you ordered this from him, you said back in like August or something, right?
Yeah, I ordered it in August from a small toy seller in Pennsylvania, Indiana. They're called the Warp Drive.
Oh, very cool. That's really cool. And it just came in, you said yesterday.
Yesterday.
So
Were
the timing
they-
on this was perfect.
Were they at Warp 2?
Hey, you guys have talked about waiting 2 years for things.
You know, we didn't touch on this today, but I just read an announcement from a guy that he had pre-ordered something through a Kickstarter and waited 4 years for it and just got an email from it was a toy, and just got an email from the guy who was making it saying, "Hey, I can't make it. You guys are all screwed. I'm sorry." And then that was it. So maybe I'll try and find that story so we can talk about it next time we record. But
All right,
in the
it's called
weirdest-
the place that I got it is Warp Drive Toys in Groveland, Illinois.
Oh, nice. Cool.
I don't know.
So quick shout out to them for making Jared's day. Now you got something else to put on the mantle, Jared.
Yeah.
With your
exactly.
Enterprise.
Wow.
So when coincidentally enough, in the weirdest coincidence ever, in the chat today,
Nice.
I mentioned that your mantle was missing an Exo 6 Lacutus. And Aaron messaged me and was like, "Hey, I got one for Jared. It just came in last night. Let's surprise him with it today in
Oh,
the
nice.
podcast." So I was like, definitely, that sounds like we could do that. So
Nice. Worked out quite well. Wow, the detail on this is just amazing.
it is.
Nice.
So congratulations on your new
I'm
acquisition.
a proud
I
I
owner
guess you're
now.
gonna have to cancel your meeting now so you can play with that.
No, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Just blow it off.
Sorry, I can't make it. I got a Lacutus, so I can't.
Oh, good stuff.
Sweet,
Awesome.
that's really cool. Yeah, so special thanks to your wife who
Yeah.
found one and got you one. That's really amazing. That's gonna
Big
look
time.
great up there on the mantle.
That it will.
Cool. So I'm glad that worked out. Well, anything else before we hit the old dusty trail? I know Jared has a meeting unless he cancels it to play with Lacutus.
I guess Eric needs to get an Exo 6 figure now too.
Oh, true.
I'm the last person who doesn't have one, right?
Hey,
Oh,
if you
do
want,
you have any?
if you want, I'll sell you my Chicote because I know you're like a huge Robert Beltran fan.
Night of the Comet.
Yeah, didn't she get his autograph last year?
I did. Yeah.
Is that you were late or something because you were with Robert Beltran?
That did hold me up.
Oh, that's right, for STLV. Yeah.
But I mean, you can look at it in two ways. Yes, I did get his autograph, so you could say I'm a fan, but he was also one of the last remaining Star Trek actors I needed to get an autograph with. So he's kind of far down the list too.
Well, congratulations, Jared. Enjoy your Locutus. Enjoy your meeting. And I think that's going to wrap it up for another episode of the ToyBoyz podcast. Make sure to like and subscribe. Check out our merch at the link in the description. On behalf of Chris, Eric, Jared, Locutus, and myself, thanks for listening. And we'll see you next time. ToyBoyz, disassemble.
Pew, 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 pew.
Guys, let me ask you this. Do you sometimes wish that April was a turtle?
Whoa, definitely.
Conceptually, that works for me.
You know, I've been trying to...
Where you going?
Oprah.
Man, I cracked myself up.
Oprah, I've been trying to talk her into an interspecies relationships for months now.
Whoa, Raph, chill, man.
And she won't do it,
She
huh?
can't hold her breath.
No, she can't do it.
The biggest problem is she can't hold her breath long enough, you know?
Well, okay, coming up.
Yeah, thanks for keeping us on time, Aaron.
The longer you record, the longer it takes me to edit. So
I don't see how there's much editing since like we always give you like a flawless show.
Aaron's gonna force us to start storyboarding this shit before we record it.
isn't that what your agenda is for that you didn't have for today?
You know what? We're like jazz musicians, okay? We like to get in the pocket.
Yeah.
And we don't know where it could go, okay? It could
And
go
you
anywhere.
gotta riff. Sometimes you gotta riff
Yeah.
and you gotta raff. And you gotta, you gotta jazz it up. Sometimes you get a solo.
Yeah.
It wasn't even on purpose. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's just-
Daddy-O.
Yeah. You kids today, they're all jazz musicians.
The safety word is 6-inch.
Yeah.
There's a NECA Krampus figure that's been announced. I don't know if that's of interest.
NECA's making a Krampus figure.
Yeah.
Or
I
as
think that-
Eric calls it, Crumpus. Is
There's a
that how it's pronounced in Germany?
Yeah, I took German for a while, so
yeah. In the UK, it's called crumpets. Is how you pronounce it. But
The Undein Krampus is gonna come for you.
beautiful. It's a perfect German accent. It's perfect.
Aaron, has anyone ever told you it's rude to interrupt when men are talking?
Jesus, this isn't real.
Aaron, are you there?
Hold
Oh
on.
shit, she's at my house right now.